I'm Alicia.
And I'm Maddie.
And welcome to the Fangirl Diaries, a podcast where we talk about our obsessions,
Reminisce about our teen icons,
and explore the books, movies, and shows that made us the incredibly nerdy 30-somethings that we now are. Shall I say how excited we are for today?
Well, I mean, we're so excited that you are sitting here wearing a Cousins Beach Team Conrad t-shirt.
Wait, you're not in your t-shirt. Why are people not in their t-shirts?
Well, let's just welcome our other guest to the pod first. Welcome, Petra.
Thank you for having me. I'm so privileged to be here.
The podcast has been forced upon you, Petra. I'm sorry.
No, it's all my pleasure.
This is one of our friends, and she is very much excited about talking about This Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3.
Oh, yeah. Petra has been referenced in both of the other episodes of this. It was like we were building to Petra being on this podcast, being part of this discussion. And when did we put this date in the diary, guys? Like months ago.
When you knew what date the finale was going to be.
I changed flights to be here.
That's true.
I rearranged my business plans. It's all happening.
And I'm going to have to bow down as definitely the least fangirly of this show out of the three people here. So, like, really, it's down to you guys.
Well, I have Alicia to thank for for my obsession and fangirlness of this show. Yes, it's been a few years, and I feel like we were the original fans, Alicia. Like we talked about this show before it was cool, and I feel like when we first mentioned it to Madeline, she wasn't really sure if it was going to warrant a podcast. Maybe it wasn't like as big.
I didn't watch it.
It wasn't talked about. But hopefully you've seen in the past few weeks, like the complete lore that is around this show.
The obsession fuel.
How obsessed the whole world is. We have celebrities. Sam Thompson is talking about it from Made in Chelsea, who is like the most unlikely fan.
I sent a picture of Malala eating a peach and was like, guys, she's Team Conrad.
Yeah, it's remarkable the kind of waves this is creating around the world in every corner of society. So I feel this is very timely.
How obsessed would you say you are with this on like a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay, on a scale of like your cat to you, I feel like you are the most.
That's like my cat.
The scale is like a hamster versus Alicia.
Okay.
I am probably out of 10, maybe an 8.9.
I'm going to bring out our like Instagram reel exchange as evidence of it needing to be higher than that.
Okay, no, to be fair, it has been my part-time job for the last 9 weeks. Yes, that's true.
Being a Summer I Turned Pretty fan. Obsessy.
Yes. We have like, sometimes Alicia, well, we are business owners together, and sometimes we'll finish work, and then the other day I said, right, I need to now start my job as being a Summer I Turned Pretty Reels watcher, and Alicia just wrote, I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll see you in that particular space of Instagram that we inhabit, and basically send the exact same content to each other. Yeah.
But then you just send it to me, and I'll turn on my phone, and I'll have like 20 Instagram messages from Alicia, each individual reels, probably really important at the time, but I can't catch up.
Maddie, it's been such torture because we've been watching this for years, and also Petra and I have been watching season 3 weekly.
Yeah.
And which has been torturous in and of itself. But and then you've been heroically catching up, which has been, power to you. But I have had these reels and all this content queued up on my phone. Like I need to check that I don't spoil anything for you. I need to check where you're at.
Yeah, it has been mental gymnastics.
Yeah. Petra, you and I are like hardcore Team Conrad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to push that on Maddie. So I'm like, how much of this is content that I should send to one of you or the other of you? I'm sitting here in my Team Conrad t-shirt. You've taken yours off. I don't know why.
We had a work meeting with a lawyer. We couldn't both show up in our Cousins Beach t-shirt.
I wore mine non-ironically on public transport today. We should say that today season 3 finale came out. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, my
and we all watched it together.
We all watched it together. We're at Petra's house. Thank you. And yeah, I came here in my Team Conrad t-shirt.
I really think if I was to measure my my heart levels before turning the TV on and putting it on this show, my heart was racing. I was like excited, and I don't remember being excited for a TV show like this, maybe ever.
That's important.
It was a real moment where you warned us about not looking at the internet before today, and it was a real like event. Yes, like turning the TV on was this is the end of my hobby for the foreseeable future.
And how has it been watching each episode each week as they come out?
Torture.
It has, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, we've called like Wednesday is now called Belly Day, and sometimes you kind of get to Thursday and you're thinking, oh, whole 60. I sound crazy, but like it's just it was really an anchor in the week.
Yeah, and they're not silly because Wednesday is that kind of day when you're far enough into the week that you're starting to feel a bit miserable, but it's also not conflicting with like the social plans one might have on a Friday or Saturday.
Oh yeah, all those social plans I have.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, I wasn't rewatching episodes of this on a Friday night. But do you know what I mean? Wednesday, it seems to be that the world communities have come together for this every Wednesday.
Yeah.
But our viewing journey did not start like this because we binged season 1. Mm-hmm. How was it for you watching season 1?
Well, I felt like I was playing a bit of catch up because you'd already seen season 1.
Yeah.
And we were on holiday in Mykonos, but the holiday itself was a real like friends heavy chats. Like there was a lot going on in our personal lives. And you told me about this show that was like really lighthearted and nice and fun. And you said you didn't mind watching it again. And boy, oh boy, it was like, I mean, we watch TV often on holiday, but it was such an obsession on that holiday that, you know, we couldn't stop clicking next. And we enjoyed it so much. And this was just season 1. And now watching back on season 1, I think, oh, cute. Like it was
so small.
Yeah, it was so small fry. And you could even tell like the budget was like much tighter. But it was really important, I think, for both of us at that particular time in our lives.
Yeah.
We were both going through a lot and we needed some kind of escape. And that was Cousins Beach.
Yeah, that's right. And for a lot of people, and I'll get into like the trauma of that time, but I think this show is so big for millennials, which we all are. Yeah. And we've spent a lot of time agonizing over the fact that we are not the same age as the target audience for this show. But we were so a part of the culture that lived for and digested teen shows on a weekly basis. Like, we've all loved The OC. Mm-hmm. We watched Gossip Girl. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, this show feels like a nostalgic callback to some of those things. It's weekly. It's set in it feels similar in some way. It's non-threatening. It's somehow got the themes of intergenerational relationships. It's about love.
Yeah. There's no villain. I thought that today. Like, there's no real villain in this show.
No, we kind of said that before. It's much kinder than some teen shows when we were growing up. It's much more like, even when there were the bitchier girls, whatever, they turned out to be really nice.
Totally.
And everyone got on. And actually, it is a show with a lot of hope and positivity about people just actually fundamentally being, even when they're different and even when they're difficult, they're all like, nobody's the bad guy.
No.
And it's nostalgic in the same way that Gilmore Girls, OC, Gossip Girl, like all of those are.
Yeah. Totally and look at that. We just had the callback to Gilmore Girls at the Emmys. And I thought, God, this is the same audience wants this kind of thing today. And so we're watching this in our 30s and I'm not ashamed of it. I am so into this show. But we watched season 1 at a time that is worth us talking about for season 3. Which is that I was pulling out of my own wedding, which is why, and we had gone on this holiday, you're right, as a bit of a kind of crisis summit, as it were.
Well, that wasn't even on the cards then, was it?
No, we'd booked this holiday as just, we go every year.
We just go every year.
We sit on a beach in Greece, and it's nice, and we normally watch Love Island or something. But we had gone that year, and now that we're watching season 3, we get into this discussion. I have found it really emotional watching a show that is about somebody deciding who is the right person to marry. Yeah. And what do you do if you've got quite deep into that agreement and maybe need to come back out of it? So if anyone else has lived that experience, maybe this show should come with some kind of warning, or even
you didn't
like a
know
healing
that was
flag.
Where it was going to go, even at the beginning of this season.
No. So seasons 1 and 2 were just really nice comfort watch during like quite a turbulent period. But season 3, I've been like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like
This-
biographical.
No. But wouldn't it be nice if we had a beach house?
Empathetically, I think.
Definitely.
The way that Belly's feeling, the thoughts that are going through her mind. And I think it's probably much more widely felt in society than we probably think.
Yeah, even for people who haven't gone through something as like serious as getting close to getting married, that feeling of being with someone long enough and it's starting to get more serious, and have I made the right choice, and have I like put myself into a corner by staying with this person, and is there something else going on in my brain? That is super common.
I think so.
Yeah. And in the earlier seasons where they were very much teenagers, we've already talked on the previous 2 episodes about liking the intergenerational structure of it, because we could sometimes relate to the parents, we could sometimes relate nostalgically to the teen drama. But I really appreciated the time jump up to season 3 when they're all in their 20s. And I can start to firmly say, yeah, I can feel the relatability here more than I did when it was the teen.
And as
teenage.
actors, they're suddenly playing their own age, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw a real level up in the acting in this season.
Me too. The acting in this show is so impressive.
Yeah, and I think now that they're playing like their own age group, that's only exaggerated.
Truer emotions.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that makes it stand apart perhaps from those shows that we were obsessed with when we were younger, and makes it more relatable now and real to now, and also relatable when we're in our 30s, is the reaction to the wedding and the engagement, which I was so shocked when they got engaged. I was stunned. I was like, no. And I've said previously, I loved Jeremiah. I thought Jeremiah was great. I thought they were great together. I think he's sweet. I think she's sweet. I think they had a sweet relationship. But as soon as they were like, let's get married, I was like, absolutely not. And that reaction comes from being someone in their 30s. Yeah. And I was very worried, as was my husband Ben, who has been dragged into watching it with me. He basically hid under a cushion, was like, no, I give up. They're not getting married. This is stupid. And that ended up being the same reaction as the parents.
Yeah.
And I think the shows we watched when we were 15, 16 kind of glorified very young relationships sometimes, and kind of thought that, yes, the end goal was that when you're 22, you get married and everything will be perfect forever. And those marriages are you build up to the big wedding episode and it's wonderful. And yet this series didn't do that. It was much more realistic as to what would happen if you just on a whim decide to get married to the person that you've been with when you were very young, and everyone will go what? Why? Just move in together. Come on, guys.
Exactly. And so does that mean that you hadn't seen the trailer before?
No, I'd not seen any trailers.
Petra, what was your reaction when you watched the season 3 trailer?
I must have been at an emotionally turbulent time, but I burst into tears.
You full on cried.
I don't know why it had that. It elicited such a strange reaction in me. And I'm a fairly sensitive person, but yeah, I think it was the wedding that just, it was so viscerally wrong.
Yeah.
That, it made me cry.
And I don't think we've seen that in a lot of shows that have honestly said, no, actually getting married at 21 is probably not a good idea.
No. Yeah. You're actually right, because on that callback to earlier shows, the OC has Seth and Summer marry.
Yeah.
Chuck marries Blair. At the end of Gossip. In fact, Gossip Girl ends with Serena and Dan.
And they're all in their early 20s and have never been with anyone else.
Yeah, and that's the finale. Whereas the whole linchpin of season 3's drama here is we do feel the narrative is pointing at us to disagree with Belly and Jeremiah's decision.
Even if we like their relationship, even if we like them, this is not the right thing.
Oh, and the first few episodes that we watched together, and because we watched the first 3 or 4 episodes back to back.
We had saved it up because we knew we had both been busy. we knew we were going away together, and we were like, we had made a pact not to watch any of the first few, and then like binged them together.
Yeah, but throughout those 4 episodes, we were thinking maybe this isn't going to go the way we hope, and there was real moments where we thought this is Jeremiah Endgame, like this is jellyfish, like what's going on? And we were really, I think
we were concerned.
You were perhaps more worried than I was. I thought, okay, there's time for it to turn around, but also we thought there was only going to be 6 episodes at that point.
So we had not done our research. None of us had read the book. Well, none of us has read the book.
No.
The other seasons had been relatively short in terms of number of episodes, and I hadn't at this point got obsessed enough to have looked up the viewing schedule of how many episodes there were and how many would be released. So there was certainly a viewer experience of getting 4 or 5 episodes in and thinking, oh my God, is this going to end? At one point, I thought the big finale was going to be Susanna's dedication. We were all building up towards this moment in the rose garden before we even got to something like the wedding. But before we skip past the trailer, it was brave of them to reveal in the trailer that the huge dramatic step up in season 3 is that you're going to introduce a wedding narrative. And it indicated, and I think followed through on this promise, that season 3 was a level of drama and of emotional turmoil that was just in like a different league to season 1 or 2, I felt.
Yeah.
I
The
thought it was
stakes
so
are
different.
higher when you're that age and you're talking about bigger life decisions.
Yeah, I feel like the beelines of season 3 were as dramatic as the main storylines of season 2. Like the whole like business failing and like the other stories that were going on. I feel like that could have been the whole crux of season 2. Like season 2 was mostly about like maybe the
house sale.
Yeah, the house sale and that cousin.
Yep. Just because I'm really nerdy, to offer you a demonstration of this, I was thinking about like what was the peak drama of season 2, and there was like 1 or 2 dramatic moments. But in season 3, the level of histrionics are like, I love you, I will never not love you. You can't marry me to erase him. And a personal favourite, I would rather shoot myself repeatedly in the head with a nail gun than watch him touching her like that.
Yeah.
The level of this is like, I remember watching each episode thinking, shit.
But you know what? Those lines revealed to me, like, you know, when you think, like, just say what's in your head. This season I felt was really satisfying in particularly Conrad talking his mind and actually just laying cards on the table. And well, I really wish people do that more often in real life. But like, just not being fearless in terms of speaking your feelings. And I feel like this season did that across all characters. Stephen did it. Taylor did it a lot, like in the hospital.
Yeah.
It was a real display of exhibited emotion.
Didn't pick the right moments though necessarily.
That's
like he could have chosen to say it not literally the night before the wedding.
Oh yeah, we're going to have to pick apart Conrad's character and Conrad's choices, absolutely. But like
He did have like since Christmas.
yes, he did.
He chose that one day.
He did have 4 years, didn't he, to chat about all this stuff. But your point about communication, I think, is part of why, as a culture, we're so obsessed with this, because it feels like we're in an age where communication, particularly romantic communication, has completely fallen off a cliff.
Yep.
It's totally deteriorated. Here we are watching, 11 weeks worth of young people writing letters, having phone calls, talking to each other. And there's something about it that feels so engaging and real. And like we've lost that.
Yeah.
That I wonder if to like our generation, we've thought, oh, thank God it's back. Like, is there something about that that is so reassuring?
And like Madeline said, like sometimes they pick the wrong moments, but I think it might be the hopeless romantic in me that's just like, but at least they said it. Like, just say it. Like, just see how the puzzle pieces fall differently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think we're so bereft of communication that seeing it on screen was quite refreshing.
Yeah, watching people yell about how much they love each other.
Well, because so many romantic TV shows are all about the silence and about what's not said and about like, oh, they didn't quite communicate that properly. A bit like Normal People, for example.
Yes.
That is just like full of like
why didn't you just?
like nails on a chalkboard. Whereas this, at least you got the satisfaction of like, thank God he said that. Like, yes, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Like those quotes you just read,
And you guys have said it already, but in comparison to normal people, for example, this show overall has a positivity to it. That if we think about the summer in which we're watching this, which is 2025, I wonder if there's also a call for, like, it feels like the world is in such a bad place. It's reached a level of darkness kind of worldwide that rather than this be something like super frivolous, it's not something that's overriding or ignoring that terribleness that's going on. But there has certainly been a need, I think, for people to have something joyous to engage with every week, because otherwise I genuinely think there's a real risk at this time for people to feel a little bit hopeless or just a little bit angry or a lot angry and sad at the world. And this has been a nice temporary respite for an hour every Wednesday where I think, let me just tune into my silly show about a beach house and some teenagers for an hour.
I'll submit my vote for Jenny Han winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, seconded. Yeah. She's really contributed to trying to lift up everybody's mental health for a bit, certainly. Maddie, you have watched it quickly and with Ben.
Yeah.
What has this been like?
Oh, fun. I think probably having done it quicker rather than like waiting each week and like getting emotionally invested in like the pauses between each episode, I probably like haven't felt it as deeply as you guys because I've just been able to be like, and on to the next one. But I haven't, we've never watched more than like 2 at once. So it's not been like, it's not been crazy.
Petra and I are looking at the floor like, I think we watched all 7 of episode 1 in season 1 in like 48 hours.
But I think it has meant that probably my emotion levels have stayed like up here, whereas yours have gone like deep, which is totally fair.
I think having sort of heard your narration and reactions, you've engaged with it on a much more realistic level. I think your reactions are much more like, oh, well, of course they shouldn't do that. And that's ridiculous. Like, oh, but they're nice together. And like, God, can't we just be happy for them? And
you've been objective.
I think maybe it is to do with the fact that we've had a week to like fester and react.
Stew. A bit like Conrad. You've been stewing. And if you don't stew, then things will be fine.
Exactly. Our emotions have been sort of had a week to flavour.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
become a lot darker.
I think also I probably have a bit of a bias that is maybe different from you guys in that like I think I haven't been so team Conrad. Although I essentially came away from season 2 with the same conclusion as you guys, but from a different perspective, which was like I do really like Jeremiah and Belly and I like their relationship, but ultimately I know that you could see that she was never going to give up on Conrad. That like spark, that thing was just always going to be there, and therefore I like rationally knew that like Belly and Jeremiah was not going to be the end.
You sense they weren't endgame.
Yeah, for sure. It wouldn't have been. It would be very difficult to say, no, there's this spark I've had since my childhood and yet I'm just going to let that go. Like that would have been a very difficult story to tell. But I think I probably have more of a bias towards like, you know, they did have a real relationship for 4 years that they were really, really happy in, and they had a wonderful time. That wasn't not real. That wasn't like that wasn't her like squashing her feelings for Conrad the whole time and having to pretend that she likes Jeremiah. It really wasn't. She really, really did like him. And I think I probably have a bit of a bias against like a kind of distant love where you don't see each other and you just like pine for each other from a distance, where I'm like, that's not really real. Real love is when you're together, and real love is when you go through things together and you work on things together and you go through hard times and you create love by being in proximity to each other.
Right, okay.
And so therefore I think I probably have more of a feeling of like that their relationship was more real and more true than this kind of like, we're not going to see each other for 5 years, but we know that we love each other in like some kind of theoretical way. I think real love is about being together, and it will, like, I'm sure that the narrative is that they then create that afterwards, and that they had that from being together throughout their childhood, and they had that by, you know, the year that they did have together or whatever. But yeah, I probably have more of a bias to being like, real love is about being in a space together and living together and working through things, and you don't just love at a distance. That's not real.
Whereas you see, I then went on to marry the man I dated 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what allows me to be Team Conrad.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fine that they've had 5 years apart. It's nothing.
Yeah, I lean towards that as well. I see what you're saying, but again, maybe it's the hopeless romantic in me that sort of thinks, oh, but there's this sort of there's a meeting of minds that doesn't know how long a train journey is, that doesn't know what time zones are.
Yeah, and I get that, but I think a lot of what I've heard you guys say as well has been that, like, yeah, they have this mind connection that, you know, Conrad's way more intelligent and more interesting and more like bright, and they have a spark and whatever. And I think I see that from Conrad, but I never really saw it from Belly.
Oh,
Like
I did.
I didn't see her spark.
For him.
I saw her spark for him, but I didn't see her being super, like, so amazing and so interesting, and so their, like, connection being so incredible that, like, I could see that, like, yes, Conrad is the intellectual one and Jeremiah's the more, like, you know, the frat guy who who gets on and cooks and stuff. But I didn't quite get, like, I mean, I think I said this before the penultimate episode. I'm like, I don't really get why Conrad loved her for 5 years.
More than that, his whole life, basically. He wanted the big unicorn. No, I think part of the show's genius is to demonstrate over the course of 3 seasons why this love triangle exists. And that while it was semi-sparked by parental decisions and proximity that brought these families together, through a series of flashbacks, conversations, glances at each other, the way that camera work is used, especially when we see like Conrad's perspective, or even when we got Jeremiah's perspective in season 2, the way the camera, when it's tracking as one of them, shoots Belly and looks at Belly, it's what I recognise being in love to look like if you put it on film, which is why I've really liked this show. That when we're supposed to be understanding that Conrad loves her, and it uses slow-mo or soft lighting, or, you know, when you can hear the Taylor Swift heartbeat coming in for False God, I was like, oh my God, I know this. You know, I thought I've felt this. This is so, yeah, whether it's the yearning or the way that Belly and Conrad find each other's glances season by season across a room, across a dinner. You know when there's somebody that you have a connection with who's in the same room, or who's in the same car, or even if you shouldn't be looking at them, you know they're there. And,
it captures chemistry.
It captures chemistry. Yeah. And it's clever of the show that at times I bought Jeremiah and Belly's chemistry. That this wasn't, even though I'm Team Conrad, I didn't think the show was one-sided in just...
The show wasn't unfair to him at all, no.
Not at all, to the extent where, as Petra said, when we started to watch season 3, and because I didn't know what happened and which way it was going to go, I thought, oh, this is going to be Jeremiah. Okay, the narrative here is that they want to get married, and the narrative arc of this season is going to be them against everybody else, and that their love needs to triumph, and that everybody else slowly gets on board with their happiness. And you and I even had an intense theory that, like, Conrad was going to be okay with Agnes, or that we would somehow see Conrad happy.
Well, I thought it was going to teach society a strange lesson that we need to be with the sensible love.
See, I never thought it was going to go that way, even though I was like on the other side of this like teams or whatever. I always thought it was going to end with Conrad in the end.
I thought it was some new age love story where we're supposed to love the person who's sensible and good for us.
Petra, do you remember a moment when, as Team Conrad, you were like, no, I now have faith that it's going to be him? Like, I'm now being told by the narrative. I now sense that we're back on track with Conrad and Belly. Because we weren't for ages.
I think it would have had to be Christmas.
Well, that's quite early. When we see them together at Christmas and you thought, oh, it is them.
Yeah, because I think that felt quite significant. I mean, it's given screen time.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of those camera angles of the, showing them glancing at each other when she's like sitting curled up on the sofa, and of course the crossword where it says "I still love you." And so I think from that I thought they're showing us something here that could develop, but I was still in two minds as in terms of like, how is it going to get to that? Because we were doing some kind of like Crufts dog show in terms of how to like get like we were like, honestly, the somersaults that we had to perform in order to get to the finale.
There were a lot of turns. All right, shall we, while we're structuring this conversation, shall we talk about, we never really did our categories for the previous season. So let's maybe talk a little bit about how badass this show is, guys.
We said we'd flip our categories round because, and we've already done it, we knew that one of the first things we were going to get into, and we should carry on, is Conrad versus Jeremiah. That this is a love triangle show with Belly in the middle.
Yeah.
And the badassness of this is that's the battle. That's the war. When we talk about there is no villain, and actually, we've just watched the finale where they use that term really interestingly. They've just talked about who's the villain. Is Belly the villain? Is Conrad the villain? A lot of pain has been caused to a lot of people in season 3. A lot of hurt. A wedding cancelled. People's
Adam's
hearts...
lost all that money.
He's still got the champagne. He has eked that champagne out for a very long time. And to be fair, he seemed pretty upbeat.
He was fine about it.
He was fine about it. He was taking the food home. Like, it was all fine. But yeah, there's been a lot of kind of collective trauma seems to have happened across this season. And yeah, it's like who's done wrong here? And they talk about that in season 3 and sort of collectively agree that the answer is really no one. That this is just life. This is just finding your way to the right person.
Yeah. It is hard though when it's two brothers, isn't it? I think it would be much more straightforward to allow people to go their separate ways if they were just acquaintances or friends or something. But as brothers, it really forces them to confront the fact that like they are mad at each other, they are angry, they have this tension and they probably won't like fix it really quickly, but like ultimately they're gonna have to, and they will be okay.
You get so much mileage as a drama out of a love triangle plot when you make the two love interests brothers, or you make the two kind of competitor love interest brothers, because you can bring to that all the sort of childhood competitiveness, all the under the surface issues that they've had with each other.
The issues with their dad.
Their issues with their dad.
Yeah, losing their mum.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can pit them against each other over the love of both of their lives, who they've known since they were children. The like tension of this is so... I think this might be why you watched the trailer and cried. I also had Taylor Swift over the top of it. And we hadn't seen these characters in like 2 years. And there was something about seeing that. We thought, we're back to this. I can't bear it. It's too sad.
Yeah.
But yeah. Petra, why are you Team Conrad? Because you are.
Well, why am I Team Conrad? He's mindful, and he's caring in a way that that dives a lot deeper than Jeremiah. He thinks about her when he's like making his sandwiches, and he keeps food for her in the fridge, and he's extremely thoughtful on all levels, intellectually, but also in his kindness to Belly and also those around him. He's an extremely kind person. He looks after himself in terms of he went to therapy. I saw, to be honest, in this whole show, I see Conrad as a protagonist. I don't really see that as Belly. I sort of agree with you, Madeline, in terms of like, what is it about Belly? Like, as the show went on, I sort of just had Belly as almost like a statue figure, and she faded into the background a bit more. And for me, it was more about the character development of Conrad and his like rising and his sort of transformation. And I think that was why I thought he just has to be the end, because he has shown dedication and care. Even at the darkest moments when Jer hated him, he still was running towards that fire. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just...
He stuck around, didn't he? He was just like, I'm going to be there for Jer, even if I'm the one that's caused the pain.
Yeah,
he's still my brother.
He's happy to take punches. He's happy to like be verbally abused. He's happy to lose all his friends and family if it meant that he would stand by his values of showing up for his brother, even though he's just betrayed his brother.
Yeah. Yeah. I had never thought of it that way, as Conrad as the protagonist. But I think putting it like that articulates why I've been so desperate to watch Conrad on the screen every week, and why I felt so aggrieved when we've had episodes where he's had like 9 minutes of screen time, because I thought, wait, but where's the person this show is about? Gone. Show me Conrad, please. Like, what's he doing this half hour?
I think all what you just said, that earns him a good level of badassness of Conrad,
sure.
in a very specific way.
But it's also that point about growth, because he spent season 1 and 2, and we've talked about this at length, at some points being relatively unlikable. And we have criticised him for that. And he seems to be the character who has undergone genuine, positive personal growth. And we see that demonstrated across the season in such beautiful and well articulated ways, verbally, physically. He shows his love through acts of service. He's expressed it. Whereas you're right, Belly kind of didn't grow until quite literally the last episode, where she goes and quote unquote finds herself in Paris. And even then I felt her personal growth was really being like shown. Like, she got a haircut, she speaks French now. I in many ways I still didn't like her behaviour at the end. And even Jeremiah, we really see personal growth in the last episode and a half. Finds a career he likes.
Yeah, I think Jeremiah pretty much stayed stable.
Stays the same.
Like from season 2. He's not like that much different at the end as he was at the beginning. He was more of a stable character to begin with, and so he didn't really he was quite he was a bit more basic, right? Yeah. He's just like, he was him. He's always been fun, has a good time. Yeah. And that kind of continued, and he gets emotional about things and he's insecure about things, but that didn't really change.
And back to what you were saying at the beginning about how we loved this story originally because it has a parent plot line and Conrad, again, linking back to my view that he's the protagonist, he's the one that's able to transcend those two storylines, and he has a relationship with the parents in the show that I don't think any of the other characters do. Like his and Laurel's relationship. And it's almost through his relationship with Laurel that I'm convinced of his love of Belly.
Yeah.
Because, maybe Belly will grow into her mother, and he had such an adoration for her mother that I could then kind of see from Conrad's perspective this quite petulant, student who is going to grow into herself. And I think then when he saw her in Paris and could see that she was comfortable in making a life for herself, that was a moment really where I thought, okay, I permit you to love Belly.
Yeah. Season 3, Conrad felt like we were dealing with an adult. Yeah. When at times Belly and Jeremiah were stuck in that collegey, teenagey space.
Yeah,
for
Conrad
sure.
wears a shirt to do the washing.
Oh well, we're about to get really objectifying about this when we get into our thermometer level.
All right, before we leave badassness, though, can I talk about my favourite badass character?
Yes.
Who is definitely Taylor.
Oh,
Taylor,
yeah.
who, as she says herself, is always right. And I, really relate. I just, I really love her. And I think she was such a good friend to Belly all the way through. But also was just always right. Like, even when she was saying things that Belly didn't like, she was right. she just has such a good, outlook on life and, perspective. She's able to just, look at things from everyone's perspective and know where everyone's coming from and understand the situation in a way that she's just very emotionally intelligent, I think.
Sure, but she also has that thing that we all do, is being able to really give really good advice to everyone else, but not to
But
yourself.
not take it, for sure.
She
Absolutely.
makes some bad decisions, poor communication, bad timing.
She cheats.
She doesn't. She's very good at giving advice
Advice.
and listening, but not so good at
Not taking it.
No, you're totally right. And she's definitely got that that insecurity that she doesn't feel that she should be deserving of the love, and therefore she pushes anything away that is even remotely good.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think she's pretty badass.
No, I loved her. I thought she was fantastic. I wanted more screen time for her and Conrad, who, when they're on screen together, are brilliant, because Taylor was originally Team Jellyfish until she was almost a proxy for the audience, and she noticed as the story developed that Conrad really was the right person for Belly.
She knew that the wedding wasn't the right thing, even though she was Team Jellyfish originally.
Yeah, she didn't bother to do her hair.
Yeah.
She thought, this isn't happening. She was like, I have just got out of the shower. I don't need to style my hair. It's cool. This wedding's off. It's not happening for them. Oh my God. Okay, let's objectify, please. We're just absolutely desperate to. Okay, we didn't really give this a lot of time on seasons 1 and 2 because the level has been stepped up on season 3, which is what is the thermometer level of this show? Let's discuss.
100 degrees now.
the sun.
80
I
degrees.
was say, what? No, I thought you were being serious because I was going to say, and agreed. 100
I don't know, I think
degrees.
normally our 100 degrees are more explicit, but yeah, I totally appreciate your...
Well, but that's a good point. I think the reason that this show is so compelling is that this, to me, is one of the hottest things I've seen in years. And it's not because it has super explicit content.
Yeah,
There is some that is brought in season 3 because they're adults now and we can kind of have that a bit more. But moments when, whether it was the peach scene or the surfing accident scene, or even just Belly hugging Conrad and he touches her hair, I've at times been like, oh my God, it's so hot. It's like electrically hot.
Yeah.
Mostly Belly and Conrad's interactions, but I am biased. But season 3 was shooting it that way. Like, is it fair to acknowledge, and this is not a bias, this is camera work and soundtrack, that Belly and Jeremiah's sex scene is filmed to be an uncomfortable watch? And I'm a bit sorry for them for that.
Yeah, I think
Like in when they were in college.
No, there's their main sort of, it's almost like their kind of collapse of their relationship scene. It felt like season 3 felt they had to acknowledge that this is a functioning couple that like has sex and are engaged. And it's before the bachelorette party. She's getting ready. She's doing her thing. She's putting her makeup on. She's in her like pink fluffy dressing gown. And Jer comes in and tries to like initiate stuff with her. She's just not in the zone. And if I look at this show about like, what are we being told? What are we being shown?
Yeah.
We watch a scene that she initially sort of says, no, I'm good. Like she's not into it. And he kind of pushes it. And it's filmed in a way that there's no sexy lighting. There's no, the viewer's not supposed to find that scene in any way enjoyable. And you think, oh, right, this is an indicator of the end of their relationship? Or am I being too biased?
I don't know. I think the bits that I remember being less awkward were probably like earlier, more like natural indications. They weren't sex scenes, but they were like just them hanging out in their room when they were in college, like in like the first episodes where it was clear that like, yeah, they've probably been like having sex, but now they're just like lying in bed together because that's what you do when you're in school and you don't have any responsibilities for the whole day. And like that felt much more like natural of like how a university relationship is, where you're just like really happy just to be like chilled with each other all day, and you're probably like skipping lectures just to like lie there all day and like have a nice time.
That was realistic, definitely.
Yeah, I think those were more like natural times.
Yeah, I would agree with you though on that final sex scene between them. I felt
Jeremiah and Belly.
I thought that was quite deliberate from the camera, to show us in sort of daylight. It was daylight, wasn't it?
It was.
It was a bit flumpy. It was like
it wasn't hot.
No, it wasn't hot. It was forced. It felt not in a non-consensual way.
Yeah.
But it felt like both of them were putting in quite a lot of effort to want to be there.
But I did think who was initiating it was interesting because it was being given as a direct parallel to, we had been shown, to our great surprise, the Belly Conrad flashback sex scene. I don't think you or I believed it. I think we made like a small screen. We were like, what are we watching here? Oh my God. I think you said this is the hottest thing on this whole show. You were like, bloody hell.
Yeah, that was good because she walked into his room.
She jumped on him.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was hot.
Yeah, you really did see, okay, wow. Although a bit about like, it is semi-uncomfortable that it was in flashback because I was like, no teenagers are having this kind of sex. They're just, oh, maybe they are, I don't know. But like, it was wild. It was pretty crazy. And it was beautifully shot with the infinity necklace and the lighting and the soundtrack. Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was at that moment I thought, this can't be a Jeremiah.
Is that when you thought that?
I think it was all of episode 5.
Okay.
It was all of episode 5. I thought, why show me their love?
Yeah.
Either showing me the extent of Conrad's love and how genuine it is, or showing the connection that they have when they use that episode to talk to each other about his therapy, her knee injury, her wanting to do sports psychology. If someone hasn't watched this show, they're going to be like, why is this hot at all? But we're talking about two people who start having adult conversations, whereas I think fundamentally my problem with her marrying Jeremiah, and it's the same problem the parents address, is that feels like two kids from college getting married.
Yeah.
And loads of the scenes in the show sort of demonstrate these aren't two people who can take each other into the real world. They can't get an apartment together. Jeremiah has bad credit. That killed me.
Jeremiah like went off and slept with someone else after like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
And like and Belly's like had this weird thing over Christmas that even though nothing's happened, she feels she can't tell him, which just proves that there is something.
Yeah.
Like, they are not ready. They are like not mature. And it's not that they're not mature individuals, it's that they are not mature in that relationship. That relationship is not like an adult.
It's not an adult relationship.
Maybe it's that they were holding each other back. Like, Belly didn't need to go to Finch. She could have gone to an objectively better university, but he was holding her back. And I never knew about Jeremiah's love for culinary skills until he was away from Belly, or when he was ranting about a mirror glaze to her. So maybe she was holding him back in some way, in that sense.
She wasn't going to go to Paris.
She wasn't going to go to Paris. So I think that the portrayal of their relationship was constantly they're being drawn back to this kind of juvenile college stay in bed after sex, whereas
rather than pushing each other to be better or to grow, as you said about.
And them being juvenile translated into their absolute obstinacy about needing to get married. They dug their heels and they had childish reactions. Their scenes together of insisting that they get married, of saying this to Laurel or to Adam, led to some of their most childish moments, like Belly shouting at Laurel saying, "Fine, I'll leave then." And you think, this is a childish tantrum. And downstairs is your fiancé? What? Like, you are
ridiculous.
children.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, that's right. You see her and Jeremiah lounging about on pool inflatables, making fun of Conrad, who is filmed to be like the adult upstairs. And your point before, Pedro, is right, that Conrad seems to be the person who can communicate with, and in this season, sit in the parent generation. He talks to Laurel, which is just beautiful. He's even the person who gives real-time feedback to his dad. He says to Adam on the phone, if you try and stop this wedding, you'll lose them both. Like, they seem happy with each other. We should just support them. There's a lot of time when Conrad is schooling the parents. And like you said, God damn it, he carries the show. He's the protagonist. I'm convinced. He is the protagonist. Okay, any other super hot thermometer moments that we should acknowledge? Guys, we just watched the finale. Come on.
Oh, yes. Well, we've been talking about the finale.
Oh, no, you're right. We'll save that. Sorry. Sorry. I thought everyone was being weirdly quiet. Like, no, that's come up. Can we just give a moment to... I thought my heart, like, literally stopped at the surfboard accident scene.
Oh, my word.
I think I was too much comparing it to the peach scene, which I did find quite funny.
The peach scene, you're right. The peach scene didn't massively do it for me. I thought, like,
I can too literary.
Yeah, it was a little bit too on the nose of like, she's got a
First
juicy
brother.
peach.
Now she wants the other peach brother. Yeah.
It was trying to juggle with too many metaphors, but I was loving that they used wild horses. I loved that you could see Belly from Conrad's perspective, and it was this gorgeous dusky light. But I didn't think, whoa, that's super hot.
Whereas you did with the surfboard accident.
100%.
My God.
The lighting in that bathroom, the like sweat dripping down his face as he looked up into her eyes.
Well, it was also, that was from her perspective, right? So you guys, you can put yourself into that rather than, because that was from her perspective rather than from his.
Yeah.
Some sort of Emmy needs to be given for just that 20 seconds alone. It was like the perfect moment of television. We were watching it live on like Zoom with each other, and Luke, my husband, walked in, and I was like, "Leave!" It's just like, "Do not say anything." Like, just 1 second. Something is going on here. That was when I knew that Jeremiah and Belly were not going to get married.
Well, also it comes full circle round to what we were saying at the beginning, which is this just like truth of that emotion when you know, oh no. Like, oh dear, I've like, there's something and I haven't been letting myself feel it, but like, there's no denying it now.
Yeah, now I've been like run over by it.
That feeling is not going away, and I may be with someone else, or technically like something else is going on in my life or whatever, but this is happening and I can't deny it.
And when we're talking about like childishness, they both fake injuries to kind of spend time with each other. Like when Belly like has that weird fall and she pretends that she can't like get up. I presume she's like, she says she's not pretending, but and then the leg injuries, I'm sure he was exaggerating that.
There's quite a lot of blood.
But they're not doing it in a sort of in a petulant way. It's done in a sort of, this brings us closer together way.
Yeah,
It's funny.
yeah. But that moment, I did think, and this is why I think it's such perfect television. I don't know how the actors rehearsed it. I do not know how they rehearsed it. But there's like the most perfect nanosecond where she looks like she's going to kiss him.
Yeah.
And if you watch that scene twice, which some people have, you can watch it watching each actor in turn. So Chris Briney never lets himself acknowledge or look. He doesn't pick up that she's going to kiss him. He's aiming right past her shoulder to get up. And she aims right at him and then has to sort of back out of it. It's so
And then she touches her shoulder.
Oh! She's like, his head was here with the romantic wet hair. Oh my God. And we should also say that I do think in preparation for a Conrad endgame, I'm sorry, but Chris Briney was styled in this season.
Yeah, props
like,
to his stylist for sure.
Dear God, the man looks like a Ralph Lauren campaign. Like, how? How? He was in chinos. He was in like black shirts and nice like double denim. Sometimes I don't even know. Wow. He looked like James Dean in that white t-shirt. He looked like what Taylor Swift's been singing about. He did. Yeah.
All right, should we talk about the last episode, the finale then? We've literally only just watched it like a few hours ago, so the reactions are still very raw. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of vocalized reactions.
I was angry for a lot of that episode.
I almost couldn't, like, when we had to have a full-scale debate about whether it was the right point in the day to watch it and whether we were kind of coming at it with emotional stability and what was in our diary for the afternoon and would we be able to cope. And I knew that finale and what happened in it was like going to structure my interactions for the rest of the day. That if it didn't go the way that I wanted, loads of people would interact with like rageful me with no reason. And if it did go the way I wanted, I was like, okay,
We can have a good day now.
we're going to have a good day and I'm going to be so much more positive on this podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you've not watched the final episode, please don't listen, because I think we've managed not to spoil the finale as of yet.
Mostly. But we've kind of
Mostly.
hinted at where it goes.
Right. But if you've still not hit it yet, we're about to really dive into it. So
Yeah.
here we go. Petra, why were you angry?
Oh, I really hated Belly for a lot of it. I really disliked her reaction to seeing Conrad. I think that has been swelling for me for the past 2 episodes because I don't like how it's felt like she's been stringing him along for the last year while she's been in Paris. She's let him do international yearning with letters, and the best she can do is a postcard back giving her her new address. And I just felt that was selfish and greedy, and I really disliked her for the last couple of episodes in terms of her relationship with Conrad.
Yeah.
And then when she saw him, she was doing, and I kept saying it, but she was trying to be so like self-righteous and like, no, like, you think you can walk in here and like steal my heart? No, like, watch me in my nice top.
When's your next train, Conrad? When's your next train?
Yeah, don't you think you should get... Okay, I'll take you to like the Louvre and we'll listen to the earpiece. And it was just like, I'll cut it off, Belly. Like, you love this guy. You know you do.
He's flown from California to your doorstep.
Yeah.
He airmailed you Junior Mint, which that alone will have cost more than the ring that Jeremiah bought you.
Yeah. Right up until the final moments of that episode, I was really frustrated with Belly. And I'll stand by the fact that she should have apologised on that train. To us and to him.
Yeah, because you really moved yourself to a place where you were like, I just need Conrad to be happy.
I was Team Agnes in that final episode. I was like, fly back to California. There's a woman there that loves you.
When Belly was cold to him in that final episode near the start, me and you said, like, fuck it, just go and marry Agnes. Forget her, Conrad. Forget it.
But didn't you recognise that emotion? I do recognise that emotion that she had, which is like, just not knowing how to react, I think.
Yeah.
Not that she was trying. I don't feel she was trying to be cold all day. I think she genuinely had, in her mind for the last year, she'd been trying so hard to put them both behind her, whether she was able to or not, but she obviously wasn't able to. She'd been trying to like create this new life that she just didn't really know how to react. And she probably should have like quicker been able to kind of get over that. But yeah, just that kind of walking around and being like, I know something's going to happen, but I'm not going to be able to instigate it. So I'm just going to carry on as if this day is completely normal when it's obviously completely not normal. Like,
They could have had an earlier night, is what I'm saying.
yeah, they could have.
That day could have started a lot earlier.
Yeah, it's true.
I was so stressed for the first half of that finale. I thought, is this going to be Belly picks herself?
Oh, no.
Is this going to be... Because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't... And we all remarked on this when we were watching it. It wasn't feeling sexy for half the episode. And Belly and Conrad have the propensity to be so sexy. Please see the last half hour of our discussion on this podcast. So when they were doing like going on the open top bus and
You read French music that meant nothing to us.
No, like I was like, where is Taylor Swift? Where is the beach?
Yeah.
Where is like the whole aesthetic that comes with you guys feels taken away. And a lot of the power of Conrad was always connected to that setting. And it felt like he was really out of his depth in Paris, which maybe was deliberate because part of the justification, I feel like we had to pause it at one point and I was like, no, guys, it's okay because it has to be that this is now on her terms.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
had
I
so
recognise
much of Belly obsessing over Conrad in the past that this now has to be, he has to come and she has to be in her power. And he's come to Paris and we have to feel that he's a bit out of his depth. But I didn't like watching it.
No.
I did not. I was like, when is this lighting going to get sexy? Then she put on that hot dress. Dusk fell.
It revealed that she's broken up with the Mexican guy, so that was a relief.
Christ for that. You were so... There was a real scream that came out of Petra when Belly got off the back of the moped with Benito.
Oh,
You
because
were
I
like,
was so
no.
convinced that the haircut at the end of the previous episode meant that she'd broken up with Benito, because we all get our haircuts after a breakup. Yeah. So yeah, when seeing him really made me think, God, we cannot be in another love triangle. I don't think I can bear a whole other love triangle in the final episode.
I can't watch Benito punch Conrad.
No.
The man can't get hit anymore.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not. But it was very cleverly done, the sort of smart reveal that she's not with Benito.
Yeah.
Thank God. But enough, they left that hanging enough for there to be jealousy created. It showed us that Conrad obviously still loved her. It indicated, and I thought, now that we've got some distance from it, maybe there was some really artful stuff in that first half of the episode. Like, I loved that the reaction her Parisian friends gave him is exactly the reaction your friends would. Like, there are people, not naming any names, in everybody's lives in this room who, if they showed up, all of us would be like,
oh, I know who you are.
Yeah, I know who this is. I know way more than I should know, and I'm going to give you some looks and some hints, and I'm going to start saying some inappropriate things. And that they did that, and I thought,
it was fun.
nice.
It was fun.
What did we think about the subplot? Sorry, Jeremiah. The chef. Yeah, okay, we just don't even want to mention that. Whatever.
I actually, the chef was fine.
I thought it was shoehorned.
And the like Taylor Stephen like conflict, like we've had enough conflict with them.
No.
We'd kind of like solved their relationship, and I felt like they needed to do it again in the last episode for no reason.
I actually didn't need Stephen and Taylor in this episode because it's nice that they were there.
Yeah, it was great that they were there.
Their argument.
But they didn't need to have another argument. We've done that.
I thought their relationship was so beautifully capped off by all their scenes in the motel after the collapse of Belly and Jeremiah's wedding. I thought it was beautifully done. I thought the script writing was gorgeous. It just really gave proper weight to like what we had watched for them over the seasons. That you're right, this weird little spat about California, I
Just
thought
didn't need to be there.
don't need it.
And
Can we get back to France?
I could see what they were trying to do with Jeremiah. They were trying to wrap it up so that people that like Jeremiah are not like unhappy that he's like unhappy, right? We're trying to give him a nice ending so that he's comfortable and like maybe he's resolved some of his like issues with his dad not being proud of him or whatever.
Found his mojo.
But yeah, I mean the cooking thing, like great, he's good at cooking, but yeah, it didn't really do much, did it? It kind of just was there, and I don't really believe that his dad feels much differently about him just because he like cooked a nice meal.
I did like the kiss with Denise.
Yeah, I thought that was nice, and I thought
It was almost Jeremiah's hottest kiss of this season.
But I you guys both liked him and Denise, and I liked it as a concept, but like actually as characters, like would they get on? I don't know.
I think the show had really given us enough time to see that.
It was really quick.
Oh, you think it was quick? Yeah, I mean,
I think it was quick.
Yeah, actually, I guess
It was just since the last episode, like they moved in together.
Yeah, I mean, the time that it suggested had elapsed. I think they name checked like he'd been living with her for like the last 6 months or something like that.
Yeah. I really liked Denise as a character, and it's not something we talked about yet so far in terms of like as a new character this season. I really liked her as a character, and actually one of the things I called, I think you'd mentioned about like were there things that we thought was going to happen and that they did happen or didn't happen, was as soon as there was like banter between Denise and Stephen and that like little relationship was happening and it was like will they, won't they, I called it like right from the beginning. I was like, they're going to be in a business relationship, they're not going to be in a romantic relationship, they're going to be in a business relationship. And it started going down the like romantic thing a bit, and I was still there like, no, I think they're just going to run a business together. And that is exactly what it ended up being.
Can we please pay homage to one of the brilliant comedic moments of the show, which was when it's described, it was like kissing a plant.
Yes.
She has the kiss with Stephen. And in a show that's like so laden with chemistry.
It's just like, no, there's
nothing.
But it brings back the theme. It brings back the theme of like chemistry being exceptionally important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a theme, isn't it? It's actually the main theme dominating the Laurel and John subplot. That they seem to have rekindled some sort of sexy vibe that's happening throughout the show. That Stephen and Taylor's whole thing is that no one else compares to the chemistry that they have. Taylor thinks there's rationally a more suitable person for Stephen out there, but nothing can overtake the sort of invisible string connection that they have, which is the same as Conrad and Belly. Okay, so back to the finale. Okay, so when did we know, Team Bonrad, that we were on the home run?
Oof.
I think you guys were stressed even like 10 minutes before the end.
Yeah, 15 minutes out.
There was a part of you guys that was definitely like, oh my God, it could end with them, like her just choosing herself and leaving him and then going their separate ways.
Well, yeah, I thought it was going to acknowledge, I thought maybe they were going to have a little bit of maybe a romantic dalliance in Paris. I wasn't even sure on that for a while. And then decide to kind of leave it.
Oh, it's just like,
yeah, I would not have had a normal afternoon if that had been the case.
I probably didn't I probably didn't see it working cinematically
exactly.
until their walk along the river at like 1 a.m. And I was like, okay, finally, they're alone.
It's dark.
It's dark. It's in the twilight hours. And they're talking about their feelings and they're dancing, finally.
Yeah, when they were dancing, I was like, calm on.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, your faces are 10 inches apart. Okay, now they're 5 inches apart. Now we're talking about your past relationship. Now you're talking, and they started referencing their own narrative.
Yeah.
And you know, when you start doing that with someone, it's like, okay.
Yep.
That's part of why this show is so enjoyable, because romance happens the way it would happen to real people rather than like, I don't know, super unattainable movie people.
Yeah.
Like that evening unfolded as it would. I thought we were on safe ground in the restaurant when it was candlelit. Belly and Conrad had moved next to each other. Their body language was entirely towards each other. Then they sat on the couch. Had she messed up his hair by this point? No, that was
before they went out to dinner.
They'd started touching each other. I was like, guys, it's happening.
Yeah. No,
She's touched his hair.
yeah.
We're on.
Yeah. I think at that point I still thought that Benito was in the scene. So I hadn't
a bit
clocked that.
nervous.
Yeah. And then we had, the scene of the series.
I mean, well done, Jenny Han. I mean, you know, we have been talking with each other in between each episode every week. Like, do you think Jenny Han reads like the fan comments or is aware of what, like, the power
I think
of
it's
how much
so
people care about this?
Impressive how they must have anticipated the fandom, the global fandom of this show, because if they judged it wrong, and I can just imagine myself as the production team of this show, suddenly realising how popular it's getting, having already recorded 11 episodes, thinking, oh no, like the public want this and we haven't quite given them that, but we didn't expect it to go this crazy. And thank goodness Jenny Han like read us right, because that takes power and a lot of intelligence. So yeah.
That's it. So many people were going like, this has to end with like, it seems so tame to suggest now, but like a Belly and Conrad kiss. And we got that by the river. And then it continued.
Yeah.
And
they
then,
knew what we wanted.
And then I don't even know what was happening, because I think like I'd fallen on the floor. There was like, we were making a lot of sounds.
Alicia was on the floor.
Just like, I was like, what is happening here? Oh my God, it's continuing.
Yeah.
And man, was it continuing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think time was slightly suspended as we were watching it, so I don't know how long that scene was.
No, it was definitely much longer than any other sex scene in the show.
It felt long.
For sure.
It was so good. Well done then. That was phenomenal.
Well done.
Really, really good. Now the aftermath.
Well, you're not going to talk about the one-handed bra move.
I mean, expert.
You were like, skill. You already love Conrad, but you were like, skill.
I just love that skill was pointed out as part of this show. Brilliant. The aftermath I hated.
Me too.
Absolutely hated. This is when like the anger towards Belly was reignited in me. And back to what you said right at the beginning, actually, Madeline, was like, why didn't Conrad have, he's had 4 years to confess his love. Why do you choose the day before the wedding? Contrast that with Belly saying, do you only love me because of your mum? And then I've just kind of thought about it now in the last few hours, but it's because of his mum that he hasn't been confessing his love for Belly for the last 4 years.
It's true.
Because she told him to look after Jer.
Yeah.
And so for 4 years, he was sort of suppressing this feeling towards Belly because of his mum. So then hearing Belly have the audacity to tell him that he only loves her because of his mum, I wanted to slap her.
It was also slightly out of character. Like, I didn't really think of Belly as... Like, it came across as a bit insecure, which I wouldn't have thought that she was. But maybe
that's because it's Conrad. Like it's the one person that can make her feel insecure because she went through so much with loving him from so young and the heartbreak of it all, that maybe that does make sense, that that's the one person that can leave her feeling like that.
That's the way that I'm going to justify it, that the show needed to give us that symmetry, that there was so much of Belly being all in over the years for Conrad, and Conrad messing her about, flip-flopping emotionally, telling her they could just be friends, you know.
That's true.
That we've seen that from him a lot. It just felt so cold for that to come from Belly at the moment where they've just had this massive like reunion sex scene in Paris, where he has flown from California for a fair change of $490-something, and for her to be like, yeah, okay, cool, go get your train now.
Yeah.
Dr. Namazi needs you at that conference, off you go.
Oof.
I too was like, don't do this to us. And when she was sitting in her dressing gown, I was like, this better end with a Bridget Jones in your knickers chase scene down the street. It just has to.
Yeah.
Please run now. Did we get them? Did he see that Junior Mint was wearing the infinity necklace? Did we get that nice?
No,
I thought
he
we were
saw
going to.
Junior Mint, but he didn't see the necklace. But then she wore the necklace when she ran to him on the train.
How did she have time for that?
Yeah, that was. Her clothes must have been like right there.
Yeah,
I thought she was going to chase him down the street in her underwear because he hadn't got very far.
Yeah.
Like the poor girl had to do a like full-on taxi cab road chase because she thought, like, let me put some jeans on. It looked like she'd showered. She was wearing the infinity necklace. She would have had to undo that bear's scarf, unclip the necklace from the bear. Like, do you know what I mean? That would have taken some serious time.
I mean, it's classic cinema, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did it give you the satisfaction that you wanted? Do you think the train? Do you think that was enough?
I'm thinking about like what trade-off I would have made. Like, I wanted to see the book ending, which is that her and Conrad do get married, and some bit of me wanted to see. This is now costume point. I wanted to see Belly's actual wedding dress because, side point, and maybe a controversial opinion, I didn't like her wedding dress to Jeremiah. And I know she bought it from like a prom shop. Also, it was actually Victoria Beckham. I don't know whether Victoria Beckham had agreed to like allow her wedding dress design to look like it came from like a $100 prom store. But it was Victoria
very
Beckham.
simple, wasn't it?
It was very simple and it looked beautiful on her. But I thought we were being shown a dress that was sort of, if this was Say Yes to the Dress, it was okay.
No, it wasn't her wedding dress.
But it wasn't her wedding dress.
No way.
She looked better in the Deb Ball dress.
Yeah, I thought when she found that in the cupboard that was going to be a thing.
That's my thing that thought would happen and didn't happen.
Yeah. So I thought we're deliberately being shown this kind of like B-list dress for her because we're going to see at the end, the book ends with her wedding to Conrad. And I thought we're going to get that, but maybe it felt like Jenny Han thought it would be not a bit too heavy-handed, but that we were also relieved, like we've said, that we didn't watch a bunch of young 20-year-olds get married.
Yeah.
That to suddenly give us that at the end.
It would have had to
felt
have been a big time jump, and then you're like, well, why? Like we can leave it with them being happy at Christmas instead.
And then what? Like, is Jer going to be there? And so it ended beautifully with them at the cousin's house, and just with things like I was happy to just have them in the car and him give her a like kiss on the hand, and I thought,
that felt right.
Did you guys like the montage, the like photo book montage?
So much better than like a video fast forward, right? Like it was so well done. The pictures, finally we see Conrad smiling. They were so nice, but they also felt very authentic to both the characters and the actors, I thought. Like they weren't kissing in these photos. They weren't sexy photos. They looked like two people having a great time on set.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a real kind of fourth wall moment, where I was not only seeing these two characters that we've loved for the last 3 years, but we were also seeing the actors having a nice time.
Yeah. Oh, I've remembered why I wasn't fully focused in the sex scene. And it was because we all had a theory, as did most of the internet, that we thought Taylor Swift was going to debut her newest song in this finale.
Yeah.
Because the show has been so connected with Taylor Swift that when they started kissing and then it started developing, there was a Taylor Swift song over it, but all three of us went, do you know this song? Do you know this song? Wait, what song is this? Is this the new song? Wait, do you know this song? And so
we did recognise it eventually.
I missed half of people's clothes being removed because we were all just cross-referencing, like, does anybody know this song?
So true.
And completely missed that. But we didn't get that Taylor Swift song in the finale that we thought we might. Would you have had it end differently, Maddie, or do you think that was okay?
No. I thought it was nice, and I think, as I said, it almost felt like an inevitable ending. It felt like it kind of had to get there. It had to get. Yeah, I do think that Belly's little wobble at the end was slightly strange, but I guess I can kind of understand it from the perspective as she had been trying to create this like different life for herself, and she somehow had to get emotionally back from like kind of what Conrad was saying, which is that she was hiding from that life for a while in Paris on purpose. She went there to kind of run away. She then created her own life, which was a positive one that she liked, and she felt like she found a different side of herself. But she needed something to like get her back to, okay, now I can move forward and be with Conrad and like find her way back to Cousins in some way. Mm-hmm. And so maybe that was the moment that allowed her to kind of process what she was feeling and why she was feeling like she had to run away, and then be comfortable with just coming back without it feeling like too immediate.
Yeah. You mentioned, Petra, that you wanted Belly to apologise on the train.
Oh, I felt like that was so needed. I felt like she needed to get on the train, confess her love. But I just needed those two words of, I'm sorry for what I just did for the last year, but also almost to the audience as well. Because I needed that apology from her. Yeah,
we've talked a lot about, like, as in between ourselves and between episodes, that we have felt that Belly has been an unreliable narrator in season 3. That she's not been honest about her emotions. And we've been angry with her for the last 2 episodes because Conrad has done this international yearnings, international airmail, and she sends back a postcard being like, sweet of you to think of me. We were like, no, right, Belly. Yeah. You and I have to have a discussion.
Yeah, I felt like she was being selfish.
She was being emotionless with him for quite a while. And you're right, you wanted her to apologise for that. I have one artistic note for Jenny Han, and I don't have many at the end of this episode, which is I didn't like that it ended like in that extremely cramped train carriage. I've spent a lot of time in those train carriages. They smell of crisps. Everyone else is there. The lighting is clinical. And I wanted her to catch him in the street. Yeah. Or to catch up with him even outside Gare du Nord. But the fact that she was kind of elbowing people out of the way on the train carriage, and he's sitting in his little seat with his plastic table, looking all sad.
And go to his conference.
Go on his way to the conference. And for them to each say, I love you, in a, like, poorly lit train carriage, I thought,
I know. I
don't love it.
I wonder whether to an American audience that's a bit more interesting.
More romantic, the trains.
Yeah, trains in Europe. You can go from Paris to Belgium.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we were going through, one of the things we said we would do is think of things that we wanted to happen and didn't, or that we wanted to happen and did. I feel like we've talked about what we wanted to happen and did, which is mainly Conrad stuff. You had wanted her to wear her dress. Well, you both did. You thought the Deb Ball dress.
I thought there was going to be something.
I thought that they would go to the Deb Ball dress, yeah. And then I thought maybe Conrad would see her in the Deb Ball dress and then he would speak out. Something like that.
Ooh, that would have been dramatic. That would have stirred back up all the emotions, seeing her in the Deb Ball dress. Yeah, I love that. Was there anything throughout this season where you thought, I need this bit of dramatic resolution to happen, or I want to see this, and we just didn't get shown it in the end?
Do you have any ideas?
I wanted to see, like, silly point, but I wanted to see if those dance routines were going to happen or be shown in full. To be fair, they were shown in quite a lot of detail.
We basically saw them in full, which was a dead giveaway that we were absolutely not going to see the rest of the wedding.
Oh my God, those started happening and I was like, what is happening here? What is happening? Something I really wanted was for Conrad and his dad to have it out properly. I wanted Conrad who has spent the season in therapy, who has been much better about telling people how it is this season. And I wanted him to have it out with his dad about the fact that he knew his dad was having an affair, had cheated on his mum, because it keeps getting checked all the way through the season that Adam feels like he's lost Conrad and he doesn't really know why. And I wanted Conrad to tell him why, and to tell him why he had been a bad dad, a bad husband, why he had been had gone from being Conrad's hero to being the person who Conrad had like completely lost faith in. And I did enjoy their exchange when Conrad was explaining that he'd collapsed to the wedding because he had just had to shout at Belly that he loved her.
Why did you do that?
But I thought that conversation was maybe going to get into like their issues in a bit more depth, and it didn't.
I think it's because Conrad doesn't need his dad, he needs Belly. Jeremiah needs his dad, and so more time was dedicated to resolving their relationship.
Yes, which had really started to tank, hadn't it? So, well, it starts with that, with him being shouted at by Adam in the car.
Yeah, well, what I loved in the series, and you brought it up, I think, initially, was that Jer was spending so much time trying to prove himself to his dad this season that he kind of turned into his dad, but like in a bad way. And that's kind of what initially fractured the relationship between him and Belly in terms of his kind of dad's behaviour.
Yeah.
And
he was going to take that job without telling Belly and stuff.
He'd invited partners to the wedding.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And I thought that this was going down I thought maybe Adam was the villain in this show. Jer was going to kind of turn into him, and therefore the audience would be turned off Jer, and then that's fine for Jer to be bad.
I like it didn't go that way.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased. I'm pleased that it didn't. And I'm pleased that actually Adam became a very funny character that we enjoyed seeing on screen.
Yeah, you're right. It could have allowed a Bonrad ending to happen and for us to be happy about it and reconciled with it by making Jer hateful and making him the villain. Yeah. But actually, bar a sort of awful blip after the wedding where he was just rude to everyone, fine. He'd had a bad day. After that, the show really took its time to like repair his relationship with everybody else. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have the best use of music to them in season 3, or a time when they were like, "Oh my god, it's that song," or "Oh my god, it's Taylor Swift again"? Cardigan.
Killed me.
There was a lot of Taylor Swift in the last few episodes. I think that's
Rightly so.
Was there too much Taylor Swift? Does anyone think?
Nah.
Absolutely not. No.
How's that a question?
I don't know.
The friendship bracelets are right there.
I know. I loved the use of Taylor Swift, but maybe I wanted a bit more of. I liked when there was other people. I liked when we got Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, no, that's
I think earlier in the season there was more variety.
Yeah,
of
I think it just became such a law with Taylor Swift and this show. I liked when they had why have I forgotten his name? The guy from One Direction.
Oh, Harry Styles.
Yeah.
I liked when they had his tune.
Cherry or Sign of the Times? They used him a bunch of times.
Times, I think.
Yeah, over the Paris stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and Conrad getting on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. The use of music, I mean, it's just art. I think that there's something to be said about 3 book lovers and kind of literature lovers sitting around a microphone talking about this show, because there was so much artistry to this whole thing. I mean, Jenny Han is an absolute master of the kind of foreshadowing and all the sort of Easter eggs that were dappled in the show, and I think that's why a lot of people resonated with it who love the kind of Taylor Swift world, because they really emulated each other, I think.
Yeah, this is not a silly show at all.
It's not a silly
It's not a silly show at all. And the use of music has been so carefully thought through, like every aspect of it. And I liked the variety of music given to Conrad's point of view, because we suddenly got some older music, we got some classic rock, we got like Rolling Stones in there. Oh my God. And it also rewards people for watching television for years. I loved the use of U2 over Belly and Conrad. And I thought, it's Ross and Rachel. This is their song. This is from, I was alive in the 90s for that.
Oh, there's so many Friends references.
Oh,
for sure.
It was just brilliant. You guys, how do we wrap this up? I feel like we don't want to stop talking about it because to reference what you said earlier, Petra, like, I don't know what we're going to do.
Okay, well, I know how we can wrap it up. So
okay.
I have a final question for everyone, which is this, do you think that this series is something that you guys are going to go back to and continue to like obsess over or to like find new meaning in? Like, are you excited to kind of start again? How are you feeling about rewatches?
I'm going to do it. I'll do that next year.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't know whether I've kind of tied a bow on it, and I found it incredibly satisfying, and I don't know whether I'd get the same satisfaction out of watching it again. But what I hope it's done is opened a door to more shows like this, and I hope it's kind of going to reignite a millennial resurgence in this kind of television, because the week by week watching, that was just so nostalgic to like Gossip Girl times, or times where we very rarely now, you always see the whole series go up at once, or 5 episodes every week, whereas this, I hope, has proven that there's still an appetite for this style of TV.
I think was just so special about the whole thing, and it's like an emotional thing, that despite the amount of airtime we have given to Conrad and Jeremiah and the romantic relationships in the show, this is such a powerful show as well about female friendship in the show, but also look at the power of it outside of the show. So Belly and Taylor, I truly believe, are one of the great love stories of this show.
Yeah.
I love that Taylor had that moment and Belly had that moment to tell Taylor how much they love each other. And we have all benefited from these like amazing relationships with each other. And effectively the show is about 2 women that love each other, which was Susanna and Laurel. And I think even in season 1, John says, the person you always really loved was Susanna.
Yeah.
And this is about a show that was about women coming together at a beach house. Sorry to the guys, but leaving the men at home. They say that really explicitly at the beginning.
Yeah.
And they have this like amazing time together that I think the show has also allowed women to sit and talk about this show over and over. My sister and I talk about this show.
Yeah.
Our friends were saying they watch it with their sisters or their mums, or your entire friendship group chat has become about this show. So there's somewhere behind this, like a whole parallel narrative about like collective loving friendship.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that this is a love triangle show.
I think that's a strong theme in this show as well. It's powerful.
Oh, guys, I'm going to miss it.
What do we do now?
I have to say goodbye to cousins.
Yeah. God, we have to say goodbye to work. Can I still wear my T-shirt? I
can't.
I can't. Okay, we have to say goodbye to cousins. Maybe when we next come back for our next episode, we'll check in with what we've done with our time in the meantime. And that's goodbye to the summer I turned pretty. You've been listening to the Fangirl Diaries. Follow us on Instagram at Fangirl Diaries Pod.
And do share us with any of your friends that you think might enjoy the podcast, and rate or review us on Spotify or Apple Music.